Hello. Now, if you tuned in for a Bible study, you probably want to back right back out because that's not what this video is. This video is, I would just like to share a hobby that I have with you and kind of, just share some projects I've been working on. This is probably only going to be interesting to deer hunters or deer hunting enthusiasts. So just a heads up, if none of those things interest you, you probably want to hop over to one of the videos that I do on Bible studies and things like that. But I just wanted to share with you something that I'm kind of passionate about, and that's deer hunting. And lately I've gotten into a little bit of amateur taxidermy, and I'd like to share some things with you. Just thought we might enjoy this, okay? What I wanted to share with you is some things I've come up with about a new twist on European mounts. Now, if you don't know what a European mount is, let me show you. A European mount is this. You can see this. This is a buck that I took this past deer season, 2019. I took this with my bow. It's my first crossbow kill. So this is very important to me. And you see I've got it all taken care of as far as all the meat and everything taken off of it. Has no bad smell or anything. By the way, those of you who want to do these things at home, just let me warn you, I know there's a lot of people talk about different ways to get a skull clean. If you let the thing just kind of decay off of there, it is very difficult to get that smell out of it. So I recommend while the deer is still fresh, take care of the skull then. You know, do your boiling and your bleaching and things right then, because see, this one doesn't have a hint of any kind of a dead smell in it. And so I recommend do not let these lay around with the hide on them and decay away. They will do that, but boy, you have a problem getting that smell out of it after. It can be done, and it is done all the time, but it's a problem. So that's a European mount. Now, like I say, this is a relatively new one, just a few months old. Let me step back here. Now, this one, I took this one a few years ago and just did the boiling and cleaning and everything, laid it up in my shop, and it's dried out. Again, there's no smell, no problem at all. You might notice here it has one of its brow tines broken off. Other than that, it's a pretty good mount. And so I'm gonna start working on this right away. You may notice the horns are kind of bleached out from the bleaching of the skull. That's okay because I like to dye the horns the color that I want them. If you're a purist, you probably want it to be the natural color, but I like to kind of mess with those kind of things. Now here is, I'm holding this up so you can see it. This is a European mount. Some of those go right on the wall just like they are. Some people put them on plaques. I have a new twist on it. I did some experimenting recently. Oops, sorry, about knocked you off. I found this little guy in the woods behind my house. I was actually sitting up on a tree stand and saw this thing laying over in the woods. So when I got down, I went and got it. And I don't know if you could tell, but when I found it, this main beam was broken off all the way back to here. Or it's maybe eaten off. Animals like to chew on these. So I don't know if you can tell. If you look real close, you might be able to see a little bit of a line right in there where I took this and extended that out. And I did that with epoxy pottering clay. There's a wire in there. And if you watch YouTube, you can see how to do that. And also, the entire front of the skull from there down was missing. And so I took the epoxy sculpting clay, recreated this part of the skull, refashioned it, and then painted the skull white, and we colored the horns the color. That's probably not exactly any natural color. It's just a color we wanted to put on those horns. And I'll fix this up and I'll put it on a plaque of wood, and I've already got somebody that wants this one. Again, this is not a massive trophy. This is just a little decorator. One thing that we have a problem with as deer hunters is our wives do not like us to hang stuff like this in the house. Most women, there's a few exceptions, they see this stuff as kind of macabre. Let me get one of the other ones out and you can see the thought of this thing hanging in their living room with that skull looking at you, they're not real thrilled about that one. So you may have a little bit of trouble getting your wife to agree to let you hang a skull somewhere in a prominent place so you can brag about your trophy. So I started working on that problem. You're welcome. And what I did is a few years ago, my youngest daughter Tabitha and I were hunting in a tree stand we have my wife and I have a small acreage just east of Liberty. It's only about 9 acres, not quite 9 acres, but I've got a few tree stands on it. And we were hunting one morning in November, and in the morning, my daughter shot her first buck. It was a 6-point, so we were excited about that. Then that evening, she and I went back to the same deer stand, and I shot an 8-pointer out of that deer stand. Again, this is on small acreage, so and I was going, she was talking to me, she wanted a keepsake of our time together, especially on that special day that went so well. And then, you know, there's a thing about deer hunting. Deer hunting is, for those of us who love it, it's as much about the time we spend in the woods as it is about anything that we harvest. It's about the memories that we make. You get some of us that have deer hunted together, we sit down and we start talking about it. Well, do you remember this? You remember that? And so it's just a time to create great memories and good fun and fellowship and family and friends and all those kind of things. But anyway, I was going to make a trophy that my daughter, who obviously is a girl, would be okay with displaying in her home. Maybe she might not be too crazy about a skull sticking up there. So I worked on a mount. Let me show it to you. I don't know if I'll be able to insert a picture of the original deer in this video. I'll see if I can do that. I'm not great at video editing. But anyway, I want you to look at, if you see this is, I took epoxy sculpting clay again, and I filled in the eye sockets, I smoothed out the bone. Actually, this skull had laid around my shed to the point where the jawbone right here had gotten broken off. So I remade that out of sculpting clay, and I filled in all the holes. And let me show side by side, if I can hold these up here. So I'll kind of give you a before and after. If I can you see those? So you see a before, and this looked an awful lot like this when I started on it. So you can see that when I got finished with the sculpting clay, it is a lot more, shall we say, a lot more subtle. You can see that it's all smoothed out, and we painted it with bone color. And these horns had completely bleached out. And I dyed them, I stained them a dark walnut color, and then clear coated them. So you see, I'm not really trying to pretend that is the natural color that the deer was. His natural color was almost white. So I took these horns, like I say, they had pretty much bleached out white, and I first repaired them. I don't know if you can see, and again, if I'm able to put in a picture of the original deer as we harvested that day, I'll try to put that in the timeline so you can see it. But let's play a game of pick the fake tine. One of these two tines was broke off. This deer had been fighting and broken up its rack pretty good. And I'll let you say, is this one fake? Or is this one fake? This one or this one? Look at them. Well, do you give up? This is the fake one. when I killed this deer, it had broken off its G2 down to about here. And so, again, I took the epoxy sculpting clay, I put a wire, anchored it in here, kind of like a dental procedure, and remade this out of sculpting clay, kind of sanded it down smooth. And I kind of used this one as a pattern for what this size probably was when the deer was, before it broke it off. This one also had been broken off, so if you can see that, that one had been broken off. And again, by looking at this one, I guessed at what this one probably looked like, and then I re-sculpted that so it fixed. So this is a repaired rack. For those of you who maybe harvest a deer that has broken tines that you really wish weren't there, they can be fixed. Like I say, I doubt very seriously that you knew that that G2 was created by me instead of by Mother Nature, see? And other than that, it looks pretty good. Again, you see how subtle it is? I think my daughter will be okay with that. And I'm gonna, on a future one, I'm gonna work on even doing more sculpting with this. Again, those of you who are purist, you just want the deer head to look like a deer skull, that's fine. But I find that almost always when we create a European mount, most of the women in our life go, ooh, yuck, I don't want that hanging in my house, that's scary looking. So I'm kind of patterning this to say, to create almost a mannequin look so that the head is just something that helps your horns display better. You notice I've got this bone white color and then these really dark horns. And in my opinion, that looks really nice. It really stands out. And in different racks, I'd probably put white tips on it, things like that. But again, I kind of like this, and I hope my daughter will as well. And so let me put this down. Recently, I was in my hometown in Arkansas, and I was visiting with my brother, the one and only Coy Davidson. We also know him as Corlin Davidson, and we were working around his wood shop. He's got a wood shop that I'm very jealous of. And I was telling him some of the things that I was thinking about doing with European mounts, and he dug out some wood for me, and I want to show you. I took really a pretty rough oak board. He's got a planer, and we planed it down, and this is kind of massive here. And so I took, this is just one board. I had a niece of mine draw out this look, kind of a broken look, and if you can see, it looks that way on both ends. It kind of looks broken, like jagged. That's on purpose. I'll move it up there closer so you can see it. And when she drew it out, then I just took a jigsaw and cut it. Then I sanded it down. Do I need to back up here a little bit? How's that? So you can see what it's going to look like. And also, a few years ago, my daughter and I, for some reason, we were in our hunting camo, and someone took a picture of, probably my wife took a picture of us. And so I had that picture. Let me tell you this, I don't know, it's a little bit of a hack. I don't even know why when I thought to do this, but the picture was really low resolution. It was grainy, not a good picture to display. But I put the picture on Microsoft Digital Image. Some of you, if you know, that's an old program. I don't know if you can get it now. And I layered it. In other words, I took one copy of the picture, made it really dark. Then I got another copy of the picture and laid it over that dark picture, made it a little bit transparent, and just kept layering it until and then I ran it through a filter to make it look a little bit like a portrait, with brush strokes. And then I, produced that, rendered that, and I was really happy with how it came out. I don't know how good you can see it, but see if, yeah, can you see that? I know it's got a glare on it. So you can see the picture. Now, that is mounted on a block of wood, and I had Walgreens do that for me. and they were running a special that day, and that picture printed out and mounted on a block of wood only cost me $10. So I mean, I was thrilled about that. So you can see, I'm going to mount. I haven't done it yet. When I do it, I'll get back on here and edit that in here. I'm going to mount. Let me get back here where I can put this on a table. I'm going to mount that deer that she and I were together when we hit. I'm going to mount that here. There'll be a picture of us down here, so that, and then I will flip it around, and on the back I'll write a little note, just you know, about the day that we spent together that day, and then we will have, I think, an heirloom. I may even try to get a video of the first time she sees it. Of course, that sets me up. What if she doesn't like it? But I think it'll be a cherished heirloom. I'm at that place in life where I've lost both parents. I lost my dad several years ago. I think it's been about 22 years. He passed away of cancer when he was only 61, so he's been gone a while. My mother passed away in July of 2015, so that has not been that long ago. But I'm at that point in life where I know the importance of mementos. Right now, when I am going through stuff and I find like a birthday card with my mom's handwriting on it, I just stop cold and I look at it, and it becomes very meaningful to me. So what I'm trying to do here for her is create something that when I'm with Jesus, that once in a while she'll look up at it and say, I remember that day that Dad and I spent together in the deer woods. What an incredible memory that was, and that maybe a little piece of me will remain behind in that physical object. So I'm going to now just kind of cut the camera. I'm going to mount this European mount on this board, and then I'm hoping I'll get it set up where I'll have the camera rolling when she comes to see it for the first time. So hang with me, and I'll show you how this story ends in a little bit. God bless you. Okay, I've got the mount mounted on the board. I'll show it to you real quick, and then a little bit later my daughter will be dropping in here, and I'll get a chance to hopefully record her seeing it for the first time. We'll find out, you know, whether it's a big hit, where it really counts. Okay, all right. This is the completed project. Oh, there you go. So you can see that. We've got the mount up here on a nice stained oak plank that I have put the ridges in to give it the sort of driftwood / broken barnwood feel. And then we got a picture down here of me and Tabitha and I in our camo and holding my .270 bolt action rifle, which was used to land this bad boy. So I'll move up here a little bit, and I'll give you a closer look at it. See, there's the buck, and then we'll move up and you'll see there's the picture and that. So it is all done. This is my first attempt at taxidermy. So, yeah, if any of you guys were interested in doing something like that, I would be happy to share with you the things that I learned. I know I'm very much a rookie. And like I said, that's my first project. And I'm looking forward to starting my next one. So here in just a little bit, when I come back on, I will hopefully get a good video of my daughter coming in and seeing it for the first time, and we'll see how that goes. So hang on. Talk to you later. Well, a few minutes ago, my daughter dropped by and I did the big reveal, and I will get in serious trouble. She didn't know I was videotaping her secretly. I set the camera up so I could catch her first reaction to it. And she was dressed to go do some housework and some painting, so she said I absolutely could not show that. I'll tell you what, there's about 40 seconds of it that I'll stick on the end of here if you'll promise not to tell her or tag her or anything in it. might notice it's sitting back over my shoulder. I've got to put the hangers on the back of it, so I told her I'd get those put on so she could have it in her house pretty soon. So anyway, this is my first taxidermy project. I'm kind of proud of how it worked. I think I was able to create a family heirloom that I think that one of my 3 kids is going to really enjoy for a long, long time. Now I got to figure out what to do for the other 2 so I don't get in trouble. So I'll have to figure that one out. They're not real big on deer heads, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing this project, and if you'd like to see, hopefully I will show you some other stuff as I get those done as well. And if you enjoy this hobby, let's share things together. So anyway, I'm going to cut to it, just show you a little bit of what it looked like when my daughter saw the project for the first time. But remember, don't tell.
Is this wet?
Huh.
Oh, that's so cool. Is that what the horns look like?
No, I changed them.
Did you? Like, what'd you change on them? Other than the color?
Them. This was broken off. This was broken off. I fixed that.
Yeah, I thought they were a little more rugged looking.
Yeah, then I stained it.
Oh, I love that. What gave you the idea to do all of that?